Hey, you're back in the garage with TheEZGZ. Guess what today is? You don't know what today I'm making this on, but today is my birthday. So, I thank you all for your happy birthday wishes. Thank you. You have become my family. You guys are my friends. And I never thought I would get here. I've been doing a lot of reflection and looking inside myself and saying, gosh, how did you get here, and what the hell is going on, and what about where are things taking me? And you know what? I was in church last Sunday, and I wrote it down on the little service bulletin that they give you when you go through the door, and man said, it was a guest speaker, and the man said, "Yesterday is gone. Tomorrow may never come. All you've got is today." And I encourage all of you to make the best of every day that you got and just appreciate it and know that God loves you, and that I got all wrapped up and motivated. Sometimes I'm a recovering Catholic. I don't know if very many of you know that, but I am. I was born and raised in a very strict Catholic environment. Had to go to catechism. I had the religion just crammed down my throat, and I was scared to death through most of my life of the consequences for my thoughts and things that I did and things that happened to me. And there was so much, man, it just it just tore me up. And the Bible, I actually avoided reading the Bible because I thought, well, when it comes time for judgment, if I don't know any better, maybe it won't be held against me, on Judgment Day. All that is just such rubbish. And then as years went by, I got involved in the Lutheran Church. That's similar to Catholic. And our priest or pastor, whatever you want to call him, he was married and smoked cigarettes and drank beer. And we used to go over to his house. It was a small little church, and we met at a public school. And I really liked that church. And then once they built a church, and the responsibility of having that church and that debt, everything changed, and the people changed. And I left. It's like, this ain't fun anymore, and I'm not doing this shit. So it's funny, and different things. You're probably not even interested in this. What does this have to do with Volkswagens? I came here for information on Volkswagens. Well, you're gonna get it. And this is my church. This is my garage. This is where we come and have fun. And I got tons of things coming your way. This is the infamous 1800 Mystery Engine. It has pretty low miles on it for reasons I will explain when the time comes. I want to look inside. It was a big experiment to use those thin wall 88 pistons. Oil pressure isn't what I think it should be. And I've got I got a bad stud where the oil pump goes in. I was trying to mess with tighten it down. I couldn't get it to even to the torque, and stripped out a bolt in the oil pump, and this thing just leaks profusely. So there's a lot of issues here that we're going to get into and try to address. I'm not saying yay or nay on the layout, a 74 stroker crank and 88 slip-in pistons, because I just, I made some mistakes here, and I want to get inside and look at it. And I started off with a used case, which was probably a mistake as well. But it was an experiment, and that's what I do for you. I share my adventures and what I do and how I go through things. It's 27 degrees outside today, and I redid those carburetors. I just made a video on it. I had a clogged idle air vent jet, and I put smaller main jets in it. For some reason I was running these big fat 150s, and I know that's what I had to do when I originally set that thing up a few years ago. It just wouldn't run right. That was the setup that it ran good, and my spark plugs look pretty good, but now they look a little rich, and I'm not sure what's going on there, and I was going to take it out for a spin, but I went down to a 140 main jet, and I'm kind of excited to see how that's going to go, but I don't know. I just don't want to go out there in that 27-degree weather. It's got a heater. It works. It'd be fine, but I'm just not in the mood. I've kind of wanted to go up to Sprague Lake on my birthday in Rocky Mountain National Park and do a lap up there, and Mary thinks she's coming down with a sore throat or something. She's got a headache, so I just thought, on my birthday, I think I'll just stay home and make this video. And I've been watching, like many of you do, Joe Rogan, his little podcast thing that goes up on YouTube, and he's doing an interview with Bill Burr, which has got to be, right now he is, for years, he's been my favorite comedian. I just like, he's kind of a potty mouth, but he's so real, and to see those two guys at the table, it just, man, they are good. Let me see if I can, Joe Rogan Experience. The Joe Rogan Experience number 967, an interview with Bill Burr, and I got to thinking, I'm sitting in the house and I'm watching this, and I thought, what's this podcast thing all about? And I'd like to grow my channel. I'm really a very private, shy. I don't do well in big groups. I'm more of a, I wouldn't be doing this if I was an introvert. Maybe I'm just stupid, I don't know. But I am honest about what I do in the garage with these Volkswagens, and I've been doing it for 30 years, and I really want to get that experience and knowledge out, because I remember how in the beginning I knew nothing. I was like 35 years old, divorced, had custody of my 2 kids, and all of a sudden these stupid Volkswagens came into my life, and I was broke, and it just, at some point, instead of directing your own life, sometimes you got this movie playing in your head, right? Of how you want your life to be and how you want your day to go, and then you get out of bed in the morning and it's like, man, it's just an obstacle course that you go throughout the day, hoping that you're going to succeed and get that movie. You got that movie going in your head. This is the way life is supposed to be. And I just finally, at my age, I just decided that it don't matter. You're going to have shit days, and you're going to have good days, and you take them when you get them, appreciate the good ones, and just suffer through the bad ones, And I have bad days. You don't know how many times I start a video over, and I try to jack myself up and get a smile on my face and be positive and upbeat for you guys, because I wouldn't call myself bipolar, but sometimes I have to work at it. You know what I'm saying? Anyhow, I'm watching this podcast, and every morning I get up and I have my coffee, and I read my comments, look at the comments that people have left, and sometimes there's questions, and people come into looking for a piece of information at my channel, and then they go into the homepage and they start looking at all the other videos. Heck, I got like 700 videos posted now, and I'm glad that I took the time to choose my words for the title of the video and try to put a picture correlating to what the video was about, so it makes it easier for you to find the answers that you're looking for. And a lot of people that just come to my channel to look for those answers, they left about 10 minutes ago from this video. This is a video for my friends. This is a video for the people that like TheEZGZ and hang in there. TheEZGZ, it's time to reveal that. My name is Greg Zupan. Yeah, I'll just say it once. That's my name. So my initials are GZ. And I used to have this plumbing and heating company, and I didn't know what to call it. And so I called it GZ Mechanical. And this was back when I was in my 30s. And I decided that I would... what I wanted to do was, versatility. I didn't know if I was going to stay in that field, and I didn't want to cut myself off from the air conditioning and the heating and kind of just be a mechanical contractor, but I had the plumbing license, so I could pull permits and do, but I specialized mostly in service and repair, so I would rather do 3 or 4 jobs a day with separate customers, and that way at the end of the month all your eggs aren't in one basket, and if somebody doesn't pay you or something, you're not screwed too bad. And I always collected. The only time I got screwed in 4 years of business was a relative on my ex's side. You know how that goes. And so a few of these people used to, the manager of apartment building or something, you know, and oh, here's TheEZGZ. This one guy in particular used to call me TheEZGZ. And then, I don't know, it's kind of spread, and some of my friends, and it just kind of, so that's how my channel got the name. And I put that in, and there's somebody else up there that's TheEZGZ, but then I got, I put the in front of it. Yeah, I didn't know what to do. Tried capital letters different ways and things, and finally it took. And so, but that's how my channel started, and I just started it to leave, so I could leave comments and give positive feedback to people and ask questions on their videos. And at the time I was heavily into prepping. I wasn't into even the Volkswagen type thing, but Valerie came home. My '66 Volkswagen. My son was living in Portland, and you know, he wanted to bring Valerie home, and I decided that I wanted to rebuild that engine, and I went to the internet for information about Volkswagens, and it was just so painful, you know, to just get those little gold nuggets that I was looking for at the time. And I thought, you know, I could do that. I should try that. I thought what I would do is just do my best to answer some questions that get in my comment section. You guys don't see the comments like I see them, and I know there's a lot of you folks that watch my videos that don't have a channel or don't have any videos posted. You just want to talk shit. So, and that's fine. So I do get questions, and I want to try to answer them, and I thought I'd just put you on the stand here by the workbench, and you see my garage all the time. And I thought maybe we would just do a little shot at this. It's going to be a little bit longer video. This is kind of an experiment and celebration, so bear with me. Alright, come on. I can't even get my... There you are. There you are. I hope I'm going to be in the view. And we're just going to... I got a little of this thing called sciatica. It's a nerve that goes down your hip and down your leg. And it's actually a lot more comfortable to stand than it is to sit down. But I kind of wanted to, you know, and I'm not trying to embarrass anybody or hurt anybody's feelings. I'm thinking that there's other people that are thinking about these same questions, and I'm doing this to help you and everybody else, and it gives us some good content, I think, for the video. I just got this one this morning from a guy named Philip, and he says, what are your thoughts on a turbocharged 1835 as far as PCV venting? I had valve cover vents and was getting a lot of blow-by into the catch can. It is a fresh build. The turbo drain was routed into the 1-2 valve cover, and I'm thinking the valve cover vent was pushing the drain tube oil into the catch can. You know, and the first thing I wanted to say is, you know, turbocharging it's common now. It's not like it was 10-15 years ago. It's becoming more and more common on a lot of cars. But the thing with modern cars that have factory turbos on them is they have spark and management and boost control. They've got control of what's going on there, and you're seldom under boost anyhow. My little 2004 Mazda Miata had a turbocharger from the factory with an intercooler, and it was a sweet setup, and it was hardly ever on boost, but you could be going down the interstate 75 miles an hour and downshift and kick it, and you could tell when that thing came in. It was cool. It's just like having that extra power, and yet you still had the economy. Sometimes I wish I still kept that car, but I just don't have room for all that, and it was killing me on insurance, and I don't know. I just don't like convertibles, and it was just a low car, and I like the versatility of being able to go exploring and things like that when I get up there in the mountains and see a little road. So, here's my answer to Philip's question. A fresh engine takes a few miles to seat things, so you may have some initial blow-by. You know, they say, 1,000 miles or whatever. Some guys will say that, at racers, and I gotta keep going back and forth with the racer mentality versus the street car. We've got a conflict here between two groups, and it's not as extreme as the restoring people that want everything exactly the way it was when it came out the factory with all German parts. Those days are gone, and it's that's expensive too. And what you get in the end, man, I hope you had a good experience with your girlfriend, when that car was brand new, and are just reliving that dream, because yeah, that's just a pain. I wouldn't want one of those little 36 horsepower cars. I don't care if it did have split oval window in the back of it. No thanks. But it takes a while to break in an engine, and those 92 jugs that you would use to build an 1835, they were a little bit thinner, and they had a little bit way of distorting. And if it's an 1835, he's using a 69 crank. And this is another problem I have. You guys give me such little information. You kind of like outline the big picture, but I don't have all the details in order to give you the detailed answer that you want. And you expect to have, oh, just give me the answer. Let's cut to the chase. Well, I just don't know that in an 1835, even with the turbocharger, and if you got an 1835 with a turbocharger, you're a hot rodder, and you're going to whine the hell out of that thing every now and then. So, I don't know. I hope you're running a deep sump, and you got some extra oil in the bottom of it, and I don't know what could be causing, it's blow-by. It's plain and simple. You got blow-by going on there. If you've got an oil mist coming up, maybe you could vent it. Try venting it in a different place. A lot of my friends use electric fuel pumps that have turbochargers, and where the fuel pump goes on a Volkswagen block, that's where they're dumping their oil out of the turbo right down into that spot. And you might try a different location. That wouldn't be a permanent thing, and that would be something that you could try. So I'm sure if you're running a turbo, you're not doing it with a stock fuel pump. And, you got to just do a little experiment on yourself. You need a baseline to start with. Drive it a certain way, and then don't get into the boost. Drive it for a half a tank of gas or a few days, and look at your oil level, and look at your catch can, your breather box, and see how it looks, and then start kicking into the boost. And you just, process of elimination, you're gonna learn what happens. And I have a book here. It's one of the blue books, and that's all I'm going to say in reference to it. But I've worn it out reading it so many times that I had to put it in a 3-ring binder and take each individual page and put it in plastic. And I want to read you something from that. I did want to read you something from that. Really, I did. Okay. For every application, I never recommend over a 90.5. Even race cars do not make as much power for as long with bigger sizes. 92 always suffer from distortion in short order, causing leak down or blow-by. They simply do not provide good longevity. Yes, 92 and 94 will make more power when brand new, but I found that by the end of one race day, they are way down on power and seal. Most people using 92 or 94 are having to hone and install new rings extremely often. I personally do not find that this is economical, so I do not recommend them for any applications. So that's not me assuming something. This is a very respected racer who is no longer with us. Rest in peace. But he was one of the greats back in the day, and that's what he had to say on it. So, and here's another thing. As long as we're on the subject of removing factory parts, let's talk about the rarely found thermostat and control shutters. Most stupid mechanics take all this stuff out and throw it away. Why? I cannot figure that one out. After all, if they are driving a water-cooled car, I would bet a week's pay that they would never think of removing a thermostat from their new Chevy, so why are they removing it from the VW? Maybe they have spent $1 million doing more testing than VW and know something that the factory does not. Personally, I doubt they know as much as they do by now, or will by the time you finish this article. So basically, you know, temperature control plays a lot with sealing your engine, and I agree with him, and I have thermostats on most of my engines, and I think it's a good idea, especially in a Four Seasons car where you're going to be running, like today it's 26 degrees out there. You don't want you don't want to run that heavy duty relief spring and be sending all your oil up to the oil cooler, or be running 2050 oil and when it's 26 degrees outside and everything goes straight to the oil cooler first and you're only driving 3 miles. My fan just came on over in the corner, the heater. It's 26 degrees. So that is another reason you want to keep the thermostat. It doesn't shut the air off, and a side benefit is that if you are using defrosters and so forth, it's going to limit that air, and the air that is taken in, the alternative place is going to go through your heater boxes and up through into the car, which is a good thing. And I tell you, Mary's house is about 2 miles from here, and I'm halfway there. I put my hand down and I feel warm air coming out of my by my ankle, out of that heater channel. So it's, you know, it's the truth. So I don't know, you're gonna have to experiment, Philip, and hopefully you'll figure it out. And oh, there was another guy here sent me an email. Okay, let me get my thoughts together. Let me find this. I'm going to turn you off and back on. He's building a buggy from chassis up and has replaced the swing axle rear wheel bearings twice, still not used. And each time I get play when I rock the wheel, when all assembled and torqued up correctly, 250 foot-pounds. I don't know if it is outside race moving in the axle housing, drum moving, spline, just playing the transaxle, and I'm feeling it at the wheel and the drum. Is this normal? Where safe to proceed? Something I must fix? Okay, we went back and forth and we discussed it a little bit, but again, you know, I'm not there. Your problem is like fully in your head, and it's hard to put it down into words. With these loose drums on your buggy, for one thing, it's a dune buggy, and I wouldn't worry about the safety as much as you know, a car that you're going to drive on the street and go to the grocery store every day. On a dune buggy, you know, it's an off-road car. You're going to go take it easy. You're going to drive it around the block a little bit, and you're going to be shaking and wiggling things, and it's going to take you a few outings to get things dialed in and set up, and you'll change your mind a bunch of things. And the retaining caps that hold the bearing and the backing plate in place, they came in different thicknesses. Matter of fact, yeah, I have some right up here with my transmission stuff. I'm so organized. That was just luck, I ain't kidding you. But here's what we're talking about. There's a space right here and different years, and I don't know if I put that puzzle together. And yeah, here's one that's real narrow, you know, kind of do it at an angle here. And then you look at this one, that's for the backing plate. Yeah, that might be a type 3 or something. And then you've got this one over here. So you may have the wrong retainers. And also there is a piece I told John about that goes behind the bearing on the end of your axle. Let me, oh, here's one right here, right here. I don't know, you probably got it right and everything, but right here, you've got a little spacer that goes down here and it's got a curve into it. And if you really get over, you know, crazy, if you've got bad splines in your drum, this might not be his problems, but just in general while we're talking, and you tighten down your drum's loose, and you notice it, and you hear your brakes are weird, and you feel it in your pedal is moving when you put on the brakes kind of lightly. When you tighten up, it's okay, but you feel the surging in your brake pedal. You know, check your drums for sure, and you should be checking those once in a while anyhow. But what happens is a guy will get out there and he'll, oh, my drum's loose, and he'll tighten it up. Well, your drum is done. If it's that bad that you can feel it, I wouldn't drive it like that too long, because it'll fail on you at the worst possible time. And a lot of times guys will tighten them up so much it distorts that ring. And they used to call them racer spacers. They had something out of a hardened metal that wouldn't crush and distort as easily. But he said he's got new drums on there. I remember that. So that's probably not his problem. I think he's got the wrong components in there. And, you know, the tough part about that is where do you get the right components? Yeah, you know, that's why when you go to a Volkswagen shop, you know, they're always going to have piles and piles of used spare parts laying around from things that are trashed. And I would never throw anything away, and that's why I've got parts like this, is because, you know, if I throw something away, it is really junk. So I strip things, and those are all cleaned up. I was working the graveyard shift over there at the college, and I think only one time, boss, I might have brought something in from home, and when I was on my lunch break, I went over to the sandblaster and I sandblasted it and got it all cleaned up. So, yeah, right. So, then I woke up. So, at least I'm retired now. You can't do anything about it now. All you guys that leave comments, it's really fun to wake up in the morning. I look forward to it, and all the support you guys give me. It's fantastic. And you know, here's this guy like Spannerman Tim. He's over in the UK, and he's been with me for years, and he's made some videos himself. Him and his son do some stuff together, and I think he's the one that told me they watch it on their TV and like my channel. And there's a guy, Mike Hammer. He's a very smart man. And we were talking, he had started off with a fiberglass dune buggy, and I think he got a Baja. And I've seen pictures of your Baja, Mike. That thing, I love it. That thing is so sweet. I wish he had a channel and did videos, but I wish he'd send me some pictures. You got my email. We've talked on the phone. Haven't talked to him for a long time. But send me some pictures of that Baja. You send them to Wendell, and he showed them to me on his phone, and it's like, talk about drooling. I just about ruined his phone. Oh, Tim Reiner. Hey, brother, this guy just humiliates. I feel humiliated around him. This guy lives in Brazil. He's a minister. What do you call? Oh, I'm sorry. Brain fart. People that go around the world, and they'll teach Christianity in other countries and things. Well, this guy the Lord took him to Brazil, and gosh, my life, I mean, he's going to be remembered. This guy, he's got a YouTube channel. Check him out, Tim Reiner, Reiner, and we've posted videos, and he builds these little dune buggies. Oh man, they are awesome. And they have the rottenest gas. He can't get performance parts, but he builds these really clean, cool cars. And his wife had some family out here close by, and he drove out, and we went to lunch and had a burrito together. Thank you again. And we had a great talk, and it was great to meet him, and he invited me to go down there, and you know, I'm still thinking about that. I don't know how that would all work out, but yeah, he's got a nice shop, you know, and really cool stuff. Thanks, Tim. I appreciate all you do for me and my channel. Wes, he's a neighbor. I've yet to meet him. Some of you guys, I feel like I know you, and you live close by, and I haven't probably should find a way to meet you, but he's got some stuff, and oh, there's so much stuff in here. And I don't know, this video's gone way too long, and I don't know if the content is worth it, but maybe you guys will let me know in the comments down below. And like I said, it does help if you give a thumbs up. I think YouTube does track that sort of stuff, and it also kind of lets me know if I'm on the right track, and I'll definitely be looking at it closer on this video. And hey, it's my birthday. Throw me a bone, would you? So I'm just interested in maybe just shooting the breeze, man. Just hanging out here in the garage. You know, I can only afford to work on so many things, and like I said, I can't. There's a lot of your projects that you'd like me to try something or do something on my stuff, and that just doesn't work out for me. But with having 4 cars and they're all running except, you know, Valerie. I've got these extra seats. I used to have these seat bases in there, and I've been thinking about doing some seat rotating and making that more comfortable and putting Valerie back on the road. And I moved it out from the side of the garage, and it's got a 1776 with a stock cam and a 34 pick 3, and I know most people probably have a 34 pick 3 on their car, or that's what they want to have on their car. And it's a good carburetor, but there's a certain peculiar things about these European carburetors. And just like that DCNF, I just did a video on that Weber DCNF. It might be a universal carb, but it ain't in the United States. You know, they put those on Fiats, and they were very popular in Europe, but it just, as far as I know, Gene Berg was the only one pushing those, and a few other people did. It kind of had a flash in the pan for the aftermarket, because these IDAs and Delordos are the cat's meow. And inside a stock sedan engine compartment, those, I'm really thinking, I wish I had the money. I'm almost thinking of putting it on a credit card, of ordering some of those D-series carbs. I just can't make up my mind whether I want to go with the 36s or the 40s. I've had my 36 Delordos on everything, 2276s to 1776. They work great, get good mileage, are fantastic carb. I even put 28 Venturis in them. Now, see, there's a difference right there. Your stock IDF 40 Weber comes with 28 millimeter Venturis, and the 36 Delordos, which is smaller than the 40 Weber, because they're looking at the throat size on the top, they had 30 millimeter Venturis, so capable of breathing for a few more RPM on the top end, but they just worked fantastic. And those idle jets, you can get to them. You don't have to be taking them off the car like we did with this one. So anyhow, I want to get a few more miles on it. I was hoping on, I'm real excited to see what going from a 150 to a 140 main jet is going to do with my mileage. And but it's just kind of not in the mood. It's my birthday. My kids will be checking in with me, I hope, and maybe we'll do something for lunch or dinner or something. And Mary and so on and so forth. She's not feeling good today, but that's the way it goes. Some days you are good and some days not so good, and I hope you're having a good day. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subbing. TheEZGZ out.